Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review the Garfield movie. And this is from director Mark Dindal, who previously made Chicken Little and The Emperor's New Groove, which that got my attention, because to be perfectly honest, this film didn't. I have not been excited to check out this new Garfield film. The trailers made it seem like this continuing trend of taking classic properties, completely throwing everything that makes it unique and made it work in the first place out with the bathwater, and making a crazy, over-the-top, ridiculous, zany, high-energy romp that'll distract kids for an hour and a half. And yeah, that's kind of this movie. I will admit there are moments, including like the first 10 minutes, where this really does capture the spirit of who Garfield is. But that's it. Then it goes on this crazy adventure. It's like, when did we ever care what Garfield's long-lost dad and his relationship with him? And this turns into them. It's a revenge plot of this one cat done wrong by Garfield's dad, who wants to get revenge. So then they have to do this humongous heist, stealing a whole bunch of milk. And this film is indeed a heist film and leans into every single trope that you're going to find from heist films. Putting the plan together, getting a team together. And this film is so overstuffed with things, with characters, with ideas, and it just feels so bloated. And it gets overwhelming and convoluted, especially in its second and into the third act, where like this has to have this giant action set piece towards the end that's just absolutely ridiculous. This film jumps the shark so many times in terms of like, this is Garfield. Like, why are we having like this crazy on a train fight scene with all these? It just makes no sense. Like, this could have easily not been Garfield, because there's very little about it that is Garfield. Now, when it does lean into the fact that, like, this is Garfield, it's kind of amusing. You know, the lasagna, or waking me up in the middle of the night, I need my midnight snack. And that whole dynamic. That works. It's funny. That's what made Garfield funny. But so much of this film is just bloated, convoluted, overstuffed nonsense of a heist film that it doesn't really engage you, because it's just whiplash all the time. And sure, you have a fun, classy villain who drinks milk out of a martini glass, but then they keep stuffing in more antagonists, and you're just like, but why? But why do we need this? There's so many things that you watch this film and said, we didn't need this, it added nothing to this film, cut it. This film could have been easily 85 to 90 minutes if you just like, cut. But they didn't cut. It's all about how big and crazy you can get this adventure and trying to make it feature length. This really didn't have the concept, the idea to really get there. And it just feels so overstretched. You have Chris Pratt, who's voicing Garfield, who's kind of just doing a deeper voice Chris Pratt voice, and being Chris Pratt, just hungry and lazy. And it's fine. Like, it's not a terrible performance at all. Like, you can't say that. Nicholas Hoult plays Nicholas Hoult, and this character gets like nothing to do except act crazy and manic throughout the film, because this has very little to do with his, like, Garfield and his relationship with John after the first 15 minutes, and you're just like, that's the heart of Garfield. And they kind of just throw that completely out the window. Samuel L. Jackson's doing his Samuel L. Jackson thing. Hannah Waddington is certainly having fun as this cat out of prison drinking milk out of a martini glass. Ving Rhames is fun, but like, he's just a random thrown in character, this bull who has a whole entire subplot that I don't know why we needed. Odie Harvey Guillen's certainly having fun being nonverbal animal. Like, you have people like Bowen Yang and Brett Goldstein, so like, yeah, you have Roy Kent as like these henchmen. And then where this film gets so shameless, which this is where like the eye rolling comes in. One, Snoop Dogg's in this. for like 2 minutes. The only reason he's there is so you could be like, this is starring Snoop Dogg, and it's Snoop Dogg playing a cat. Okay. Whatever. And the product placement in this is insane. Like, just absolutely ridiculous. But there's some funny things about it. There's some fun moments. Like, Chris Pratt is charming. Like, he has some funny moments. There's some clever gags. Some of the physical comedy is fun when it doesn't keep getting stretch out, and just elongated and recycling the same jokes. Like, there's a cat flicks. Just watching cat videos. And, like, those cat videos are adorable. But, like, those kinds of elements are just sprinkled in. And this film has, like, it feels like it has, like, a fourth act. It's one of those kinds of things where it just feels so stretched out beyond its limits. And in the end, this just feels like a weighted down, convoluted, modern remake of something that was beloved. And they're just like, let's make money with it and ruin it. You still have the original Garfield. This doesn't really feel like Garfield. But those are my thoughts on the Garfield movie. Let me know what you think. Let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.